Welcome back to Ghosted by the Machine, the show where we share real stories from real people navigating today's broken hiring system. I'm your host, Mark Lane. Let's make hiring human again. Let's get into it. 5 minutes, 5 questions. Today's returning guest is Mickey Brown. He's a managing editor, senior editor, marketing content manager, and content strategist from Northern New Jersey. We spoke with Mickey earlier in his job search, and today we're checking back and to see what's changed. Hey, Mickey, great to have you back.
Hey, Mark. Thanks for having me back. I'm excited to talk with you today.
So last time we talked, you were right, I wouldn't say in the middle, but you were in the job search. Where are you now, and what's changed since then?
Well, still looking for a job. I wish I had better news, but still out there, still looking. I did have a job for a while since we talked. I worked as a seasonal package driver for UPS from the end of October to the beginning of January. So like I said, about 2.5 months, I was doing that, putting in long hours, delivering hundreds of packages a day all over Northern New Jersey. It was an interesting experience, to be sure. Have some stories I could tell, but probably won't tell them here. But it was something that I kind of had to do for myself, for my family, for my mental health. I think it was good kind of in the short term to kind of pull me away from the day-to-day grind of kind of looking for a job. And I just felt like I wasn't really getting anywhere, and so I thought let me try something a little different for a little bit of time. And then that obviously ended, and now I'm back out there looking for a job once again.
Well, we've traded stories over the last few minutes before the interview about our delivering stories.
Yeah, we sure did.
So what's been the biggest surprise, good or bad, about the job market since we last spoke?
Well, I mean, I'm kind of, like I said, just kind of getting back into it in the last couple of weeks. So I'm kind of still getting my footing. I would say that unfortunately, it doesn't look like things have gotten a whole lot better since we last talked. I know there's been a lot more layoffs happening. Some big companies have laid off a lot of people since we last talked, which is, unfortunate to see. And I don't know that I'm seeing an uptick in the number of vacancies posted out there. So I still think that the supply doesn't meet the demand. Hopefully that changes in the new year in 2026. Hopefully there are some positive signs coming our way, but until I see it, I'm not gonna be overly optimistic about the market improving or the hiring process getting any more efficient.
So Mickey, have AI tools, ATS systems, or recruiter tech help you move forward or made things even more frustrating?
Yeah, I think they just complicate things further. I think, instead of, just looking at a job description and thinking like, oh, hey, yeah, I'm qualified for that. I think, with my resume and my cover letter, I should be able to, I should be able to get noticed, by the recruiter or the hiring manager. There's so much more to think about now. Do I have to run to ChatGPT to make sure that that my resume is hitting all the keywords and satisfying all the various requirements, that the ATS system has in place. So it just adds an extra layer, or layers plural, of confusion and complexity to the whole process.
Yeah, I think the process, and you bring light to that we've all had to learn how to utilize these tools.
Right.
And these tools are all new.
Yeah.
So we're all in the infant stages, and I think even the hiring
sure.
managers and the companies are in the infant stages, and they've taken that whole human element out because they feel that these tools, this will make things simplified, a lot easier for us.
Right. And also, I mean, a lot of these places too, like there's been a lot of these cutbacks and layoffs have taken place within the HR kind of function. So I think there's fewer people there who are there to actually like look at resumes and analyze these things and match up applications with jobs. And so how do you filter through all this stuff? Well, AI, of course. How do you make it easier for these places that have fewer people in place to do these? It
used to be if you knew somebody that helped you get in, but I think those days are long gone.
They could be. I mean, I still wouldn't hesitate to reach out to someone if I thought they might be able to help me, get my resume in front of an actual an actual living, breathing human. But again, like you said, I don't know how much that helps even these days.
So what's one thing you learned about hiring now that you didn't know before?
I think there's much more randomness and luck involved with this than anybody probably cares to admit. And I think that, you can do everything right on your end. You can do everything right as far as tailoring your resume to the job description and stuffing all the keywords in there that you think you need. And you can go completely unnoticed, even if it's a job that you're perfectly qualified for or even overqualified for. And at the same time, I think you can also get the attention of the ATS or a hiring manager or a recruiter when maybe you're not perfectly suited for a job. I've certainly experienced both on my end. So I think you just kind of have to do your best, do the best you can and hope for the best, which is not very encouraging words, not the most, not maybe what people want to hear, but I think that's kind of the state of the union, so to speak, these days.
So if someone watching this is exactly where you were when we first met and I interviewed you, what would you tell them right now?
I would say let go of your ego. I think that's a big part of kind of just not only trying to find a job, even if it's something temporary or part time, just to kind of get you through a period of unemployment. I think it's just a good. I think it's just a good words just to live by in general. Is that yeah, you may have had this great education and all this experience. In the end, that may not mean all that much, as I've found and you've found, Mark, and some of the people that you've had on this podcast have found, is that you can be as perfectly qualified for a job or a type of job, but unless the employer views you in that way, it's not going to matter. So I think you need to be willing to kind of do what you need to do to just kind of get you through this period. And if it's for mental health purposes, go and try and tear yourself away from your computer for a few hours a day, a few days a week, just doing something else other than trying to find a full-time job for yourself. And I think in the long run it'll end up paying dividends for you.
Mickey, thank you so much for coming back and continuing the conversation. I wish you all the success, and I know you're on the right path. And if anybody's out there watching or listening to this thinking that's exactly where I am right now, you're not alone. And if you want to stay plugged into the real stories, real insights, and real humans behind today's broken hiring system, make sure to follow and subscribe to all our social channels for new episodes, shorts, and conversations every week. I'm Mark Lane, and this is Ghosted by the Machine, because behind every application, there's a human. Let's make hiring human again. Thanks again, Mickey.
Thanks, Mark.